One of the characters in my new writing project is causing me some concern and some worry. Hello and welcome back to Bookish, and welcome to a video which I'm going to talk about writing and reading and, probably the most well-known, most overused piece of writing advice, and that is write what you know. And I want to talk about that in relationship in part to what I'm writing, a mystery book that I'm writing with my wife. We finished the first draft, we have the plot, we have the character sketched out. We just need to go back and fill in some details and then go back and do another edit at the very least. But one of the characters in that book, as a matter of fact, the main character of that book came to me kind of, in my mind, kind of fully formed, and talking about it with my wife, the same for her, she understood what I was going for and, kind of what would this character be. But that character is an asexual character. And I'm not asexual, and my wife is not asexual, and so that brought up, for me, this issue of writing what I know. Now, generally speaking, I would say I think anybody should feel free to write whatever you want to. Your audience, editors, whatever, are going to tell you whether or not that was successful. So I think you should feel free to write whatever you want to. So to me, this idea of writing what you know comes with a lot of kind of really specific applications and ideas that go well beyond just the idea of writing what you know. I think we got really messed up with this idea of writing what you know thanks to Ernest Hemingway, who apparently insisted on having almost every experience that he chose to write about. And you can read his works and you can see, that Hemingway's been to bullfights, and Hemingway was in World War I, and Hemingway has gone deep sea fishing. He wanted to have those experiences and then write about them. And I think that kind of created this idea that that's the way writers are. They live an exciting life and they write about, in a fictionalized way maybe, what they do. But that's really limiting. And most of us, particularly most of us now who have to have, a job, or in my case, are retired, to have time to be able to write, just can't go out and live these big adventurous lives like Hemingway did, or even a life like Fitzgerald, who also primarily wrote about the world and characters and people he knew. So a couple of things I think are really important. Write what you know doesn't mean you have to have lived the thing you're writing about. You can have studied it, you can have read about it, you can ask questions about it, you can probably even watch YouTube videos about it. I hope that's true. You can have just imagined it. I mean, after all, every fantasy writer ever has written what they've known, but what they've known doesn't exist anywhere outside of their mind before they put it down on paper. And certainly you wouldn't say, that any of those writers had not written something they knew. And particularly in the field of mystery, if you had to write what you know, then every mystery writer would have actually been a detective. I'm pretty sure P.D. James was never a detective. So, she's clearly writing about something she didn't actually live, but she obviously paid attention, she studied, she looked into it, and she was able to write it. So writing what you know can mean writing something you learned. But what about when you're writing about a person whose identity is different from yours? Where is that line? My intention is, with this asexual character, is to make that a part of her life, but not, a part of her life that we kind of learn about or kind of know about, but not something that is the driving force in her life, not the focus of the story. That brings up a lot of questions for me. Have I just created this character because I think that makes her more interesting? And if I'm just saying that makes her more interesting, am I then appropriating an identity just for entertainment purposes in my own book? And if that's true, can I do that respectfully? And if I do it respectfully, how do I go about doing that? How do I go about finding out? And so my answer to that is to research and to learn as much as I possibly can about asexuality, and then have my character not talk about it, not explain it, but exhibit, probably the wrong word, but exhibit, ideas, actions, lifestyle issues that are lifestyle kind of situations which reflect that thing about her without ever necessarily going into real depth about it. And I hope that that's something I can do. So, if you think that that's not something that can be done by a non-ace writer, please let me know in the comment section. If you think it is something that can be done, and you know of some resources, please let me know about those too, so that I can go ahead and study. But this then, of course, brought me to the second part of this, which is read what you don't know. So this video is titled, Write What You Know, Read What You Don't Know. So I think reading what you don't know is really important because, particularly if you're going to be a writer, that means that you are experiencing things through the written word that you're not experiencing directly in your own life. You know, I've never been a detective, I've never been on a police call, was never involved in a murder investigation, but I felt like I could write about it because I've read so many mysteries and I've watched so many mystery TV series and movies that I think I know how it works, at least in a fictionalized way. So, you know, by reading, I've learned something, and that's a really good thing to keep in mind, that you can read about it to learn it. But that means you have to read perhaps a little bit outside of what you always read. You know, I think if you're a writer, particularly a writer of genre fiction, the temptation is to read just within that genre, and so that you understand things about the tropes and structure and world building and all those kinds of things, which I think is valuable. But I do think you have to actually step outside that and read things you don't know to inform yourself more. This doesn't mean you have to read a lot of nonfiction. It doesn't mean everything you read has to be something you don't know. But I think stepping out there enriches your life, enriches what you know, and it helps you to have more to write about. Anyway, there you go. There is my video for today. Really just a ramble about something that I've been thinking about. Really look forward to your thoughts in the comment section below. And as always, thank you for watching.